Hello, I have something a bit special on the bench. Now this is, as you can see, is a box from Siglent here. I've been asked to review this and I thought, yeah, sure, I'm always interested in doing reviews on test gear, especially stuff which has not been released for very long. So there's not many of these around. They are available. As far as reviews go, I haven't actually seen any yet. This is an SDS2104X Plus. This could be interesting. Stick around, check out the review. So what I'll probably be doing is two videos. One that's like a quick unboxing, overview, bit of a look at it. And then once I've had a bit of a play with it and got a bit more familiar with it, then I'll do another video going in a bit more detail about the operation of it, testing certain features and that kind of thing. Now I believe this has got MSO option as well, so we'll have a look at that too. But it should be good. Don't forget to chuck comments down below, ask any questions you may want. I'll have this thing with me probably for a couple of weeks if I'm lucky. I do have to give it back, it's not mine, it's on loan. I do have an opportunity to do some more testing on it if you've got questions, and I can get this video out soon enough and I still have it when you ask the question. And if I have time to do it. Okay, so no promises, but I'll certainly have a go. Right, let's get into it. Got my round knife. Okay, so this is on loan from Rob from Towerpacker Technologies. Here's his card. This is the New Zealand agent. So he didn't actually give me another card. It must have fallen out of the box when I was carrying it around or something. Anyway, luckily I've still got a card. Thanks a lot, Rob, for loaning it to me. I think this is maybe a demo unit he's been trying out or using himself. I may even do a teardown. Well, so here we go. So here's the logic probe, SPL2016. Okay, so there's all the little clips, hook clips. There's the adapter which plugs into the front. And here's some adapters and connections. It's a bit like a join line connector. In fact, that's probably all it is. But I imagine there's some electronics in there too. Usually have some kind of electronics in them. Can't really see from that. Those look like nice connections actually. They're quite nice. So also you've got those little DuPont style, but they're round, they're quite high quality ones. Look like gold plated as well. Yeah, you can see they're got nice gold ends on them, so these look like high quality. I love this little case, that's really nice. So we'll have a look at that too. And we have another box. A big box, what's in here? So we've got USB cable, power cable, probes, 200 MHz probes, the PP215s, and we've got 4 of those probes, because this is a 4-channel scope, and we have a quick start guide thing, tells you quickly how to use it, functions it has. I should probably read this. I've done a little bit of research on this. There's a massive thread on this particular oscilloscope on the EV blog forum, but there's got an awful lot of waffle in there and people digressing and just going on tangents, and it's really hard to read the thread, so I really struggle. It's like 29 pages or something like that. It's ridiculous. And most of it isn't in anything to do with the scope. So we've got cal cert, or certificate calibration, what you want to call it. 23 plus or minus 5 degrees, 24th of February this was done. Use the Rode and Schwartz signal generator, key site precision source. This is funny actually. Yeah. Siglent, you might want to just fix your typos in here. Just a little one. Agent digital model reader. And a U2000A power meter apparently. Interesting. Recommended dates of calibration as well. A bit of information there. And of course there's also a CD in here which would be probably manuals and could be the PC software maybe as well. Usually that kind of thing that's on there. Let's get the thing out of the box. Now some of you may know that from my previous reviews I tend to do like a first look, first experience review where it may not be overly technical, but it's how someone using it for the first time would find it. That's the way I tend to do things, right? So it's very real. There's no scripting here. This is me getting a piece of gear and having a play with it, and seeing what it can do, right? And finding my way around it, see what features it has, that kind of thing. Right, here's the card. So I think Rob's already been playing around with this one and having a look at it himself. So it's probably started up a couple of times maybe, I'm not sure. Remove film before use. So you've got these big feet which stick out of the bag. which are fixed, and it looks like it does have, yes it does have little angle feet on there, so you can indeed tilt it backwards very slightly. Show the angle there. So it's got a very slight tilt on there. That actually feels pretty solid. I do like the way they've got the feet sticking out the back further like that. That actually works very well. It feels a bit front heavy actually from that. It doesn't want to go backwards, it does want to come forwards, so you have to watch out for that. But then usually when you're using a scope, you're pushing buttons. So if pushing buttons, that does not want to fall over. That is actually really good. That is very good, I like that. Probably the most stable scope I've got. Oh, here, present. This isn't mine. So you've got multifunctions, indented buttons there, that's not indented. Not indented, not indented. So these are indented, these ones here. The ones are not. So let's have a close look at the front. This is one's 100 MHz. I believe these are software upgradable to like the next model up. So I think this one can be upgraded to 200 MHz to the license key. I could be wrong, but I think that's what the deal was with these. And there's the port there for the MSO. Obviously you've got the color port there for the pro compensation. 2 USB ports on the front. So you can plug in a mouse, apparently. So you can use it on the screen. Power button, obviously 4 channels. Decoding, history, search, navigation, reference, math, acquire menus. That's all the typical controls you get on a scope. There's nothing here which is particularly out of the ordinary. Clear sweeps. That's a little bit unusual. Clear sweeps. You don't normally see that button. I have seen it in the past, but it's not a very common button. And on the back, let's have a close look at this. So we have pass-fail output and external trigger. That's also trigger out, and what does that say? Trigger less than or equal to 1.4 volts RMS. XT5 less than 7.5 volts RMS. Interesting. USB port and LAN as well. And also your IEC connection there. Voltage range, dual voltage. Well, basically 100 to 240 volts, 50, 60 Hz or 400 Hz. Pretty much universal. So we may take a look at this. Rob has said I can open it up and have a look if I want to. We'll see how we go. I'm very busy at the moment. I've got so much on. It's been ridiculous. So hopefully I can get the time out and pull it apart maybe and have a look. I'm sure you guys want me to open up, don't you? I expect you do. Okay, I have a power cord plugged in. Power is now turned on. And we shall see what happens when I push the button, I suppose. I think I've got this right. That's on. Yep, okay. Just push the button. Gonna count the boot out time, shall we? When the power wasn't on, that wasn't pulsing. At least I didn't see it pulsing, which is a common thing the Siglents do. It's pulsing the power light when they're on standby. Boot up time outside of some people. Got a lot of people really. 30 seconds so far. Is that done? Yeah. Yep. There we go. Call that done. Right, it's just under 50 seconds, I'd say. About 48 seconds or so. Boot up time. It's acceptable, I suppose. It would be nice if it was shorter, but I guess that's the nature of it. Is this touchscreen? I think it is. Yes, it is touchscreen. There you go. And you can actually use it through the film. Very nice. Can you adjust the trigger point? Yes, you can. You can move it over as well. That's cool. Let's see, horizontal scaling. Yeah, it just takes a bit of getting used to the vertical and horizontal in these positions. That is a little bit odd. I'm used to being one above the other. To me that's more like one, channel 1, channel 2 kind of setup, but it's not done that way. I suppose you get used to it. Alright, so shall we take the film off? Oh no, I'll leave it on for now. Where's the time base measurement down here? Let's have a look, where is it? It's down here, go right down. What does it go down to? Well, up to 1 kilosecond per division. 1000 seconds per division, you go all the way the other way, and 1 nanosecond per division in that one. So 1 channel, 2 channels, well 1 and 3, 2 and 4, so we have 4 channels here. Let's have a look, how do we do these? 0 in position, so yes, that's horizontal 0, I want vertical 0, channel 2, vertical 0, is there we go. So there should be 1 there. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's easy enough to use, isn't it? Digital channels, there they are, overlaid. You can usually do things with the buses on these to change the view positions. Don't know where that setting is in here yet, so I'll have to try and find that. Display. Might be under there somewhere, maybe. Let's figure it out. Anyway, turn the digital back off again for now. Here. Cat stuff gets everywhere. So digital is off. Oh, that's interesting. Still got these lines across the screen. Because I've got display turned on. There we go, I still got display turned on. Did I just find a bug? Because these are the data lines. Yeah, I think I just found a bug already. Yeah, I thought I'd get a little bit closer to try and show you a little bit better. So yeah, you've got the data lines here, showing the 16 channels. Turn them off and they're still there. Unless I turn the display off. So if the display is on at the same time as those digital channels, well, it's doing it now. What happened then? Let's just, can I replicate this? Because I did the display menu, and then I turned the digital off. Digital's still there. Now it's gone. Why do I have to push that twice? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm worried about nothing. I'll have to look at the video again, see if I did something silly. This is scrolling through different menus each time I push it as well. Changing. Infinite persistence. Is that what it was? Infinite persistence. Could have been that. Yeah, that's what it'll be. Infinite persistence. That's showing those lines across there. Makes it look like a bug. It's not a bug. It's infinite persistence. If I go 5 seconds instead, it's gone. See? Not a bug. It's fine. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's clear that up. That's the first little quirk we found, but that's okay. Also just left in infinite persistence mode. So I could do auto setup. It's also got a print button here, which usually grabs screen captures, or you can save the data to a CSV, that kind of thing normally. Input impedance, if I can pronounce it, 1 mega ohm or 50 ohm on each channel, so I believe that actually does real loading. It's not just a display thing, it actually does load the 50 ohm impedance. You also do voltage, amps, readings and that sort of stuff, labels, bandwidth limits. Full 20 meg or 200 meg. Interesting, limit to 200 meg. 100 MHz scope. That's interesting, isn't it? I guess that's universal firmware between all the scopes. AC/DC coupling, ground, of course. Probe, 1, 10, 100 to 1. Or you can do a custom as well. Okay. I like that nice little short menu actually, it's quite nice. You can just go straight to it without having to go to a big list. Because usually it's only 1 to 1, 10 to 1 that you have to worry about. Some people use 100 to 1. I know I've got a 100 to 1 probe here somewhere. I rarely use it, but I've got one. So that's quite nice to actually have it, that little short list, and then you can expand upon it if you need to. That's nice. Let's start the top left corner, shall we? Measure. So we've got an overview of all the measurement types here. Source from channel 3, or C1, it's marked as here, C1, and C3. Sure, yeah, it's saying C1 now. Maybe it's last time it was using C3, so it held that value. Interesting. So yeah, we're using that one there. Measurement types, so you can choose the ones you want. Cool. All the standard ones. RMS isn't currently in the list. Here we go. Let's choose RMS as well. Shove that in there. Always have RMS in there. It's very handy. Okay. Clear them gate times. Gating on and off, so you can use. Oh, you can measure part of the waveform. Cool. So you can use that to only measure a certain aspect about the waveform that you can see on the screen. Cool. So cursors, I imagine it does the usual thing, adjustable cursors. Here you go, so that's doing that side. So push, that's the other one. I'm just doing those two cursors right now. Manual track X, Y, here we go. So we've got that pair, that one there, that pair. Yep, cool. Left. So that's fine, that works as you'd expect. Velocity control is quite nice one actually. So it's pretty fine, and then yeah, that's actually, that velocity control is pretty predictable. That's a pretty predictable control. That it's actually feels like they've finally got that velocity controlling right. Now, something I've always hated a bit about my SDS2000, it's quite an older scope now as well, but the velocity control, you'll be adjusting it, and then it suddenly jumps and sort of overshoots from what you want it to be. It drives me nuts. You get used to it, and you get to sort of work around it, but you know, it's a little quirk I don't like. But this one feels good. That feels much better. They seem to have finally got that bit right. Okay, cursor's back off. Touch. So I guess that's you can turn the touch screen on and off. Cool. Print, so you can grab screenshots. You no flash drive plugged in right now, so I can't do that. Default setups, auto setups, the usual thing. Quick sweeps, so I guess that's resets it, I suppose. Normal triggering, auto, normal, single. Trigger position on that side there. Pushing centers it. Don't forget I've got the position not zeroed. There you go, zero it now. We've got a single channel running because I had them all offset. Don't forget. Setup. What we got in here? Edge. Let's touch turned off. Edge. Slope, pulse, video, window, interval, dropout, round, pattern, serial. So fair range there. Channel source, of course. Can you select multiple sources? Channel 1. What do you think selects multiple sources? No? No, if I turn channel 2 on as well, do that. Set up source channel 2. No, you can only select one source at least in that particular arrangement. Edges, obviously rising, falling, alternating, hold off. Oh, missed it. Hold off, none events and time. What events does? Don't know. Haven't seen it before. None. AC/DC, low frequency HF rejection, coupling. Noise rejection. And zones. So that's a nice little arrangement of trigger options in there. Also you've got normal trigger, single trigger, auto trigger as you expect. Yep, that covers those. That does push, obviously that's for selecting. So if you're not using touch and you go into a menu, I expect you would somehow get to these. How would you select those without touch turned on? Normally you'd use something like this, or soft keys. That's a good question. How do we do that if we don't have touch turned on? Oh, I've just grabbed the mouse. Let's plug it in. Let's see if this works. We now have a mouse pointer on screen, so we can use that instead. I think touch is generally, I find touch easier than using a mouse. So, you know, because you can just go straight to it, it's just easier. Once you get used to using touch, it's easier. I use touch screens a lot, even at work. You've got touch screens on equipment there. But having a mouse option as well, it could be quite good. It probably gives you a bit more detail about if you want to, you know, put something at a certain point, select a certain part of the menu or something, or the screen, or something like that. Well, I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Yeah, okay. Turn touch back on again. Okay, acquire menu. What do you have here? X, sync, fast acquisition, slow acquisition, acquisition normal, peak, memory depth, 20k to 200 meg. What happens if we turn more channels on? So all the channels on now. Go back to the acquire menu. Memory depth is now 10k, 100k, 1 meg, 10 meg, 100 meg. Mega samples, isn't it? Okay, so if I do, obviously because that depends on how many channels you got set up, that's a split the resources between channels. It's probably done as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's just check for that theory. Turn off channel 2, turn off channel 4, and go back into acquire again. Memory depth now shows 200 again. So yes, you can use channel 1, channel 3, or channel 2, channel 4 at maximum memory depth. So, and also got resolution option as well, 10 bits. If I turn off the other channels, does that change? No, it's still 10 bits, so it's the same. Right, so I've got a waveform going into it now. I don't actually have the scaling stuff, so probably actually I should have set the input. Oh, it's 1 times anyway, that's fine. That's actually what I want. So that's fine. Got labelling as well, get labels on them. Label text, you can put what you want, that's nice. So you can also shrink and expand the screen in both directions for doing scaling like that, instead of using controls on the front. And you can also shift it around as well. And I guess you can do the same thing with the mouse too, can you? Yes you can. Scrolling. No, scrolling doesn't work. Can shift up and down. But I think these clicks are just all active, not a single click. Okay. Let's just change frequency actually. We've got a 26 MHz frequency going in. Let's just change this. Let's do 10 MHz frequency. We'll shrink this up a bit. Maybe not that much. You can see there's another waveform in there because that's a modulated signal. Currently 30% modulation. AM modulation that is. Let's go 50% modulation. It's a bit bigger. 90%. Let's just see how it handles this. So it's user controls, just for ease of steps. Okay, so trigger point is there. Let's shift it around a bit. So yeah, that's okay. That's just doing exactly what I expected to be doing. So let's just look at the display side of it. Persistence, let's give it 1 second persistence. A little bit more, go 5 seconds persistence. So let's just play with the trigger now. Maybe persistence is a bit too long, actually we'll go back to 1 second. So it's actually reading that quite nicely. If I turn the modulation off, there's the original waveform, and also that's with modulation in there as well. So it's actually handling that very well. Normally I like to do things like put on hold off, that sort of thing, in order to filter it out, but that's doing nicely. Okay, so here's the actual waveform here with the modulation running at 99%. As you can see, there it is, I've got persistence still on. Coming out quite nicely there, showing modulation mixed in with it. And that's also using a bit of hold off here, 724 microsecond. I'll bring it down a bit. That's where it starts to fall apart. So you just find a level which the timing which works for the frequency you're measuring, because I'm doing a 10 megahertz signal with 1 kilohertz modulation. So this is what's going to be coming out. It's fine, it's holding quite nicely. Trigger point is somewhere behind here, I can't see it. Hide that menu. There we go. Tap up there. Might widen the screen up a little bit. Hide the menus. You can do stuff up here too. You can do it from over here as well. So that's even better. Got shortcuts over here. Persistence. How do I change it? Don't know. I have to figure that out. Okay, well, that's displaying nicely. This is a frequency, you know, a display pattern which can be hard to trigger on, but it's doing it easy, nice and solid. Okay, I've peeled the screen off. It's getting in the way now. So interesting about this is I'm doing a 10 megahertz signal and I'm showing 5 megahertz up here on the frequency counter. Why is it doing 5 megahertz? Is it trigger position? Possibly, because I've got the hold off set and everything. So maybe it is something to do with that. Wish I could see where the cursor was. For some reason I've hidden it. I seem to have lost the cursor. It's there somewhere. Okay, so you can see I've got it jitting around now because I've turned the hold off time off. Let's see if I can make it do an auto setup and actually capture this correctly. Let's see what happens. Well, it's captured that version of the waveform, which is the higher frequency version. So it's kind of done it. It's not the one we wanted though. We wanted this one. So let's go into display settings and set the graticule up a bit higher, because before it wasn't actually showing up. It was do that way. You can see it's there now. It was the brightness is turned down a lot. I could just see it myself, but on camera it's just disappearing, so you couldn't see it. So I thought I'd turn it on, get that set up. So you've got these little touch options up here for the various functions, which also over here, but you can go into the menu options and pulls the menus up. So let's go to math. Also the math menu. Also you could do the same by pushing this button. So addition. What else have we got in here? Function. Here we go. FFT's in here. There we go. FFT, derivative, integral, multiplication, division, square root, subtraction. Common stuff. The arithmetic ones in here. ERES, averaging. Fuchs analysis, obviously FFT we mentioned before. Algebraic. Formulas, you make your own formulas up too. I've got no idea how to do this, so yeah, you can figure that out. So let's do an FFT on this. Now, how do I turn this on? Yeah, I mean, I've selected it. Now what? What do I do now? Hide it? Yeah, there we go. So there's an FFT over here. And it says 9.9529 megahertz, which I know is slightly off. It's definitely 10 megahertz. The modulation could be causing some issues though, with that confusing it slightly. It's got amplitude over here, some stuff. So yeah, what's the bandwidth on this thing? Back to the math function. Just to configure this panning, maximum points, million points, split window, normal FFT, max hold, averaging. Yeah, that'd be right. Let's do full screen, shall we? Just overlays it. Exclusive, when you turns the waveform off. Okay. Vertical resolution, so it gives you the voltages. Horizontal scaling, which is what we're interested in here. We don't want to be that big. Let's go down a bit less as to think about. The there is, it should be. Let's bring this up a bit. It doesn't need to start at minus 17, does it? Not too far. Yeah. Let's do minus kilohertz. Right. There it is there. Anyway, it's got FFT and it looks reasonably responsive actually. Frequencies are, I don't know, there's something interesting about the way it's doing these frequency measurements, because these aren't what we're actually getting. Let's turn the modulation off and see what we get. Okay, so modulation is now turned off and we're getting a much more sensible reading here. 9.999998 megahertz. That is pretty good. FFT is 9.8195. So these will be handy for someone. It's not the sort of thing I tend to use myself anyway. If I want FFT, I tend to use spectrum analyzers and what have you instead. Let's just do an auto setup on that. That's just the 10 megahertz waveform coming out, so I should grab that quite easily. There we go. Reference waveforms. Yeah, it's not something I've ever used. Yeah, no reference waveform stored, so because we don't have a reference waveform we can't actually do a comparison just yet. Digital I've already showed you anyway, with the digital channel showing up on screen. We'll do into that more detail later on. Display covered, save and recall. If you want to store waveform, you can do that. Internal memory or external memory into a flash drive. Do setups, reference waveforms, which is why we don't have reference over here. Bitmaps, JPEG, PNG, binary, CSV, MATLAB, and to default key, which means you can save a setup to a default key. So if you've got a setup you use a lot, you can save it to default key, and then when you push the default button over here, it will load that setup automatically from whatever you're doing. So it can save you a lot of time if you always find yourself using the same setup. You also have utility, which has got system settings apparently, sound upgrade, so it's with firmware upgrades, language, screensaver on off, I/O, VNC port, which is interesting, that's the LAN stuff, date time, you set that over there, options, so these are the options that's currently running. These are the available options which you can purchase. Obviously you get a bunch of temporary ones with the unit when you get it. Certain amount of uses. Because I turned the MSO function on, I think. Yeah, because I turned the digital channels on, it's giving me one less time here. But these are the various options, so yeah. Things, CAN bus, I2S, some stuff here I don't know about, power analyzer. That's the bandwidth upgrade. So that'd be the 200 MHz bandwidth upgrade. You just put the license keys in there. Reference debugging, self-tests, self-cowl, default setup, power online. So if the power comes on, you can to turn the scope on when the power comes on. Is that all of them? No, there's more. Tech mode. That's for Tektronix software, I think. Something like that, if I got that right. I think it's like interface, use the Tektronix. I think it was an interface or something like that. You can control the scope from it or something like that. I really can't remember too well. I did read something about it. Then we've got AWG. So we've got this turned on. We've got waveform types: sine, square, ramp, pulse, noise, DC, arbitrary. So you can probably load a waveform in from something you've measured. These are the various types which are already pre-programmed in. We've also got stored waveforms as well. This probably actually can record a waveform and then reload it in here. I actually have some stored waveforms on my other scope. I wonder. Let's see what this does. So I loaded the flash drive in from my SDS2000 scope, and this recognised that I've got these files on the drive. I have to navigate it to reload to actually read the flash drive. So I've got a bin file here. Let's see if we can actually read it. That's what it's outputting. So can I actually see that by hooking it up to itself? Let's find out. Well, this is what it's getting. A staircase. So that isn't actually what I wanted to get from it. Let's see if I can get another one. U-disk. There we go. Let's try that bin file there. No, it's still doing a staircase. Does that mean they're invalid? So it's just ignoring them? Let's try this one. No, I'm not seeing any differences there. Looks like that might not be possible unless I'm doing something incredibly wrong, which is entirely possible. Yes, I'm not doing it. So that's not what I want. That's a shame. Oh, whilst I've got the thing in here, I might as well play with these waveforms. So let's just go back to sine wave. There we go. Square wave. Yeah, that's obviously working okay. Noise. Yep, obviously triggering's making it roll. That's fine. So yeah, obviously the waveform generator's working alright. Handy thing to have. I don't know what frequency it goes up to. Should we find out? Frequency. It's probably a way of doing this with the keyboard or something. Probably is. Is there a way? Yes, there is. 50 meg. Hey, 50 meg. That's near 50 megahertz. Okay. Can I do 100? No, 50 megahertz. So it's got 50 megahertz of for sine wave. What's the restriction for square wave? Oh, square wave. 10 megahertz square wave. So that's not too bad, I suppose. That's not showing a square wave on the output right now, is it? Well, it's not really square. Mind you, it's not exactly a perfect cable and stuff, and I don't even think I've got the loading set up right actually. 50 ohm. Yeah, you can see it changing, so yes, it definitely has loading on the input. Hit relay clicking. So something else this has is serial decoding. We'll turn it on. What do we have? Buses Got 2 buses to look at. Bus display, format binary decimal hex ASCII. Protocols, which are obviously built in. Some of these will be options though. So I2C, SPI, UART, CAN. I think CAN and LIN were also default options. And I think FlexRay, CAN, FD, I2S and 1453B, whoever that is, are optional features you can have it in. We've got trial features right now, so they're on 430 trials. They require licensing, but I think the first 5 are built-in serial decoding options, which you don't have to pay for, which is nice. Protocol signals, you can set up the inputs on each channel. So each channel is using those inputs, thresholds, that's all fine. Protocol config, read-write bit, yes or no in this particular case at least. If I do SPI instead, the configuration should be a bit more involved. LSB, MSB, data length, yep. And obviously signal lines are going to be more expensive as well because there's more lines required. Protocol copy. Copy for trigger. Interesting. Don't know what it does, but it looks interesting. History, navigation and search, well, those are for segmented memory kind of things. That's what those are pretty much used for, I believe anyway. Search I'm not so familiar with. That's a little overview of the scope. I will be doing a more thorough investigation to this. Make sure you check that video out later on. I'll be playing around actually hooking things up to it, looking at more waveforms, doing serial decoding, testing, checking its bandwidth limits, that kind of thing, seeing how far it can go, maybe doing a teardown, might open it up and have a look inside, a bit of a poke around. Yeah, we'll find out what the 3 dB point is, that kind of thing, and see how it handles it. We'll do a few bits and pieces with it, I suppose, try and see if we can confuse it. Actually get some stuff hooked up and see how we go. Check the ARB out a bit better, a bit more detail, maybe try and look at a bit more detail on some of the actual features it has. Go a bit deeper into it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, click the bell icon, that sort of stuff, and make sure you catch the next video, which I do. Once I've had a bit of a play around with it and got used to using the scope myself, because it is a bit different. The user interface is different to the normal Siglent scopes. You know, the previous generations, which have got a different layout and different GUI, which I'm familiar with. Obviously this GUI is completely different, so it takes a bit of getting used to. But it's not too bad, it picked it up pretty quickly. It's looking pretty obvious to use, really. I mean, I haven't read any instructions, I haven't read any manuals. I'm just having a play around and I'm figuring it out, so how hard can it be? Thanks a lot for watching, catch you next time. Any comments, check them down below. Bye.